This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Hello and welcome, Stacy, the psychic medium. It's Stacy Mongar today, live here on the podcast and Zoomcast, and looking beautiful as always, and eager to help those out there dealing with so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sweetie. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a psychic medium. I do cold case files, missing persons, energy work. I go after corruption, which seems to be a forte of mine. And I'm also in the process of not only helping others, but also to unravel for people who, like myself, DNA is in question, other things are in question. And there's a complete and total shift right now as we speak. Energy, as we know, throughout the world, but for people in the shift and transference of wealth, of energy in general, there's major shifts planetary-wise and everywhere else in the world. But yes, so I'm hoping that in some sense I'm an equalizer of energy, but also helping people connect with that and connect with their authentic selves, their higher energy. Here to bridge that gap between 3D and 4 and 5D. So, and hopefully, and it's a major task because, as we know, for decades now, things have been brewing, and it's not necessarily good. But as we know, what always is in the dark has a way of coming to light. It always surfaces, it always comes back around. That's just universal law, and that has been from the beginning of time. And it has a way of catching up with us. And what you put into the world is what you get back. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are not quite kosher, as we know. And I'm putting that mildly. It's been an interesting week as always. And when we have issues with me getting on here, I always know. I was sent certain things, links that I should not have been. I'm going, okay, I think I had somebody hack in again try to hack into my device. And hopefully not from Brazil, but
What?
I don't know. Yep.
Oh
It's always interesting. But, more to the point, I want to focus in on, and I begin to sound like a broken record, but it needs to be put out there again, not only protecting others, but protecting myself for who I am. I was sent some things in the mail to, always gaslighting out there. My DNA is in definite question, and it's a much bigger, larger thing going on. I've had certain things which I have kept off the air. I'm beginning to think that I should also approach it with the amount of people to get a hold of me, the amount of people that are sitting next to me, the amount of people that are following me. This has to be big and major, not only with the gifts I have when I know bomb energy goes off in another part of the world or it's going off in military bases, but there's a lot going on here of who I am and others like myself or other people that are exposing things, that are exposing truth. I had somebody, and this has been quite a while, that literally, they use 99% of the time, it's a fake page. It's not who they say they are. They're trying to not only send lovely energy my way, but they're trying to reel me in and see what I know, who I am. It's always a crapshoot. And so it's just like I'm used to it. It's like kind of the people that have been following me and stalking me intentionally. They're trying to get a reaction. They're trying to scare me. And it's like, no, I'm used to it. It's not that I don't take precautions. It's not that I'm very extremely aware of my surroundings and who's around me and what's going on. So that is not it. It's just I've learned to navigate the waters. But I think wow, it's been an interesting decade, actually, 10, 12 years. And finding out that the people around you were absolutely not who you thought they were. And, I'm meaning people closest to you and friends and family and others that are not, that, when it comes money, and I said, well, this has to be a lot, because I think at least most of the state of Nebraska has been bought off, and other people around the country have been bought off. This has to be major. And not only who I am, but what it means, what others that are coming forth that are exposing things that need to be. And what's under the surface, what are the illusions, and what are distractions out there that they're putting out there. But people's lives are at stake across the world, and enough is enough. And the illusions have to be, not only do they have to be blown apart, but they have to be looked at, they have to be analyzed, and they have to be looked at it in a way in which it allows us to put in a position of, is this what we want? Is this what we want as a world, as a country? And the answer is going to be no, hands down. And but I do know that when somebody got a hold of me, and I'm going, oh, here we go again, on Facebook, and it was literally, he was from CERN, and red flags are going everywhere on this. CERN, he worked for NASA.
Okay.
And I had seen the picture, and I'm looking at this going, holy shit. Who is this again?
Yeah.
And but CERN, NASA, and that he literally was in colder parts, meaning clear up north area, clear up there. And I'm going, first off, who the hell are you? And if you are somebody, it's not for my best intentions. So once again, there has to be a lot. There has to be, and yes, there are things I know that I should know, and like myself and others, there are things. This is what we're here to do. Not only, simply give readings, but and hopefully lift people up, hopefully shed light, and hopefully bridge that gap. And once again, we're not going to have a world here. So that person, I continued, he was trying to bait me.
Yeah.
And I said, can I help you? What do you want? And it just was not, yeah. And so I shut it down and I blocked it. And I'm going, okay, I've had people from the CIA next to me. I've had people say, hey, you want to go out? And it's like, oh, hell no. Are you upright? Are you here to do me harm? And most of that answer, and once again, I will reiterate, there's some intelligence agency, yes, they're the upright. And I am, right now as we speak, I'm asking, not only I've put my life, I've put my reputation, which has been destroyed by others, so they can have the money, so they can do whatever they want to do. And it's much more. It's about who I am, to be lied to. Also, once again, my DNA, I'm concerned about where I am from. And I think I'm strongly considering out of country. Cape Town, South Africa was mentioned, but also there's been a lot of RICO crimes and corruption. And God only knows where, and I think I have possibly a second name, my original name. And we mentioned that, and others like myself have that. But this is it's surreal, it's mind blowing. A lot of things and people that came up to me, and not only Omaha, but here, it's been mind blowing. Yeah, nobody would believe you. And that's just the whole point. They want to, no, this can't happen. Of course not. You're going to say that because that gives you the narrative you want to discredit. And that's what they do with everyone that exposes. This is how can we discredit you? How can we destroy your life so you don't bring this information? So this has to be pretty, and I know my lovely people around me have been gaslighting me forever. And I believe this is before I was born. And, once again, age is in question, where I was born at. Once again, some info was sent to me and I know there are people that would like to see me, illegally behind bars. There's absolutely nothing I've ever done to be except for speak the truth and uncover things. That is all I've ever done. And me and others that run that risk, if you expose people in the truth, you put yourself, unfortunately, as a targeted, we call them targeted individuals, we call them, a multitude of other names, but people are here to expose and bring to light, kind of like Tesla, who actually died in poverty, but, vibration, energy, and frequency was what he was way ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would be aghast at what has transpired, and some things he would be truly amazed at. But going, what the hell are you guys doing down there? And I think Martin Luther King, I think anybody else that's going, what the, really? I just, the amount of people that have, it's just been surreal. So, and then of course they want to say, well, you're crazy. And I'm going, that isn't the OT million time. And I know without a doubt, that's where they were headed with that. They wanted, to shut me down. And so what better way of paying off everybody? And it's like, how much are you being paid? I have turned around and said, how much are you being paid to come to me? And good God, amount of money, millions and millions and hundreds, and I mean lots, and which would not only buy me a much needed vacation, which I haven't had forever, but also the good in the world that I can do with that would be insurmountable. And I'm just aghast at what lack of humanity and lack of moral fiber and lack of moral certitude, the moral the lack of backbone and integrity that is not existent. And it's just, I don't know. And then when we have trouble with me getting on, it's like, okay, here we go again. I had some concerns today. And I know I have people hacking and all the time, and it's like, damn, can't you get a life and do something productive other than, and I know I have copycats, but, I'm putting the olive branch out there, whoever, I'm hoping, and energetically and psychically, yes, do I pick up stuff? I've put this out there many years ago about needing to put the spotlight on things and bringing help towards here. And for those people that are in not only the state of Nebraska, but elsewhere doing the right thing, whether you're in law enforcement, intelligence agencies, or people, then yes, but unfortunately you're in the minority. And but I'm here to help them and collaborate with them and put it out there. What the hell? And you have to shake your heads at times. And then there are minor moments of epiphanies, of realization that there are people that are possessing humanity. And you see it in bits and pieces, but it's so fragmented. It's so covered up with all of the illusions and things that were supposed to be. But ask yourself the question, what are you supposed to be? What is your purpose? We're not just supposed to be walking and wandering in this world, creating destructions and illusions and chaos. This is not it. And it does a disservice for anybody here in this world, anywhere. And we need to ask ourselves, why? And should it be? And could it be? And the house and the whys and everything else in between. But meanwhile, I'm putting out to, Travis Air Force Base, which, 2 weeks before all hell broke loose in that base, I was reporting to Offutt Air Force Base in 2018. And I had specific information. I brought this up. And at the time, I thought they took me very seriously because they literally contacted people. And I said, no, go right ahead. I'm apparently the only one. I am who I say I am. I always have been. And I think that's a threat. I think when you truly show yourself who you truly are and you maintain that and you live in that, that's scary. That's scary for a lot of people. That's intimidating. That's threatening. For those who speak the truth and maintain that and continue, that's a powerful force. That's instrumental. That's a divine sort of calling and able to, grab that energy and use it for good things, use it for greatness, and allowing to bring people together. And unfortunately, even the music industry, obviously we know, very dark side. And it's like, oh, I hate that because, I like to think there's certain aspects of the music industry and there's a lot going on and that's not right within, as we see, as we know. And it's unfortunate because music has the potential, has the energy to bring people together in a good way. And the fact that it's being misused, and that seems to be happening more and more, that people aren't who they say they are. We know as far as Hollywood and any one of those, it's, what are you people doing? And you can't be people. You can't be human and do the things they're doing. It's just not possible. This is not humanity. This is very dark. This is not of the light. And sooner or later, we all pay a price for that. And I'm reaching out to anybody who's, wants to look at me and my case, because I do know there's a lot to it, and enough to where, I go in to check things, I get shut down. I go in to draw files on people that should be there, it gets shut down. And in order to have that kind of power, where that's coming from. And I'm going, okay, this is not good. And I'm whomever in Travis Air Force Base that, I put myself on the line there to expose, but I wouldn't have had it. I wouldn't have done it any other way. It didn't matter to me at the time what anybody thought. It was just a matter of that, oh my God, hundreds and possibly thousands of people could die on this Air Force Base. But once again, they stopped it. It got prevented. It got blocked. And it was literally out in the news. Unfortunately, nobody got back to me that I saw it out in the news, basically, that they were given information and they stopped a horrific event happening on Travis Air Force Base on Wednesday, March 14th. And I literally gave them the specific time and date. And yeah. And so it did. And I'm hoping that it had a lot of impact on that. Did they have other intel that was coming in? Possibly. But that is what I got, specific information. And I have never been off it. That was probably about the second time. My car was parked outside and I'm getting downloads. And I'm going, this is the second time in all this time I've been here that I've been to off it. And so I've never had any real connection to off it. And of course, with the advent of my father, which is probably not my father, then my mother and father both are in question. I do not. And I believe, unfortunately, it was not the best of circumstances. And whether, I was taken, whether, one of those, they paid off people possibility. There are quite a few things, but it's not what it appears to be at the end of the day here. And getting answers has been like pulling teeth. Every which way I turn, trying to get information, I get blocked. And that has to be a good reason. And others, when they're trying to get to and it's deep and it's major and it's massive, it's got to be. But anybody from Travis Air Force Base, once again, I lived in Colorado, Greeley. I concerned that I had property in there that was either sold out from underneath. Seattle, Washington, which I was told I was born there, but I'm not too sure if it was out of country. And so that's all in discrepancy. North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Missouri, everywhere in between, from York, Lincoln, Omaha, which have all a reoccurring thread of people and that I know that I've met, and every time I turn around I would meet. I've met people. It's been mind-blowing. And literally CIA next to me and places I worked at that some of them were ex-CIA, but usually once again, we talked about me being blacklisted in jobs going by the wayside. And I think some people were bought off there. But so this has to be pretty major. And of course, then they want to put the spin, well, you're delusional. Well, you're mentally ill. Well, we need to put you behind bars. Well, we need to put you away. And they all know what the truth is. And it'd be nice to get down to the bottom of that. And to not only, I suspect some people have gone by the wayside that were, yes, am I expecting foul play on certain people that have been gone in my life? Yes, absolutely. I'm expecting, this is that deep, that much going on. And so it can't even, a couple of 100 million, it would not be worth it. It would have to be major for it to be worth it. And not only that, but who I am. And do I believe I was an experiment? Yes. Somebody asked me about MK Ultra. Absolutely. This is at stake here. And so, but I'm not the only one. And we need to deal with all of this, whether it obviously Montauk Project, which is in Long Island, that's been widely publicized.
Tell me more about that. I live, like 2 hours away from Montauk, but yeah.
Literally, this is about dealing with children that were underground, experimented on, for many years. And then I heard that it was shut down, but reopened. They never have. It's kind of like, MK Ultra or anything else, Monarch Project, which I kind of wonder or the precursor to other programs coming out, So we hear about all of those. But Montauk Project, yes, I hear that children were involved. Experimentations that should not have been going on, like any other, and no consent. And majority of this has been no consent, or else they're not given the full details but children and experimentations and of also psychic abilities and other things going on, but and other extraterrestrial other things going on. And supposedly it was the military base shut down, but people still say it's guarded. And and I just read this not too long ago, within the last couple of weeks, that it's still being guarded around there. And so apparently it is still active. There'd be no reason to guard something and have it locked up if there weren't things still taking place. Whatever's taking place, let's hope not that. But But Montauk, which Long Island's been known for here, unfortunately. Monarch Project, which has been going on eons. As we know, MK Ultra. People say, no, that stopped. And I say, hell no. they use other means. It's electronics. It's, it's all of that. It's New Age that's taken over, but they're still there. They use that to control you. That's when it gets down to, it's about control. It's about divide and conquer. It's about control over one's mind, over their, like, as if they have ownership over you. And it's like, no, we are sovereign beings. We are not, this is not how, and then we wonder why we have problems.
Exactly.
We are sovereign beings.
No, all right. We are
beings.
out of time. Sorry, Stacy, we got to run. Oh, how are we going to contact you? This is great talk. I'm so interested because I'm a Long Islander. I want to know more. Tell me more next time,
I know
okay?
you are. And yeah, and I've had connections to Long Island for quite some time, so which is ironic. Stacy the Psychic Medium .com on Instagram, and CCS Mongar, Mongar, and anybody that's on the upright that has information that needs to get to me, come my direction. And I'm sure that most of these people know where I live at. I don't need to even give out that information because they already know.
Perfect.
But thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. Thanks again. You have a fantastic day, and looking forward to next time we speak, sweetheart. Thank you, Stacy, our psychic medium. Stacy, the psychic medium. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.